Welcome back to another great episode of Comedians in Bed, man. And as always, I like to give an introduction for our next guest, man. He's one of the most funniest persons. He's one of the most funniest people that I know in the city of Columbus, and not only in the city of Columbus, man, but the United States of America. If you don't know him, you're gonna soon get to know him. Not just through this show, but like he'll probably be coming to a comedy club near you, man. He's very funny. But if I gotta be honest, when you first see him, he's kind of intimidating. I'm pretty of a quiet guy. I kind of keep to myself. And Kenny, yeah, that's gonna be the most we've ever talked before.
It will.
But I'm looking forward to it, and that's why I do this podcast. But you get to because you get to get to know other great comedians, man, and he's one of them. And he doesn't even know a tip that he gave through another comic helped me recently on a show this week. So we'll get into that. But before we do, let's go ahead and give a round of applause to our next guest, Kenny Mock, everybody. What up, man? How you feeling, man?
Oh, I'm good, Ty, man. I appreciate you having me on, man.
And I appreciate you saying yes, man. This is a big interview we got right here, man. We interviewing the Kenny Mock. I don't feel like a lot of people come up to you, but the ones that do, they're cool with you, man. You're a really cool guy. Like,
you know what? But I'm inviting, man. I don't know why people don't come up there and talk. I love talking, man. I love talking comedy. Like if they come up there and talk, let's have a conversation. I always say that. So
man, when we be doing the workshops, man, you be looking at me like you be wanting me to say something. And I'll be like, yeah, not today, nigga. I know what you got.
But it's not even, not to sound like a race thing, but I always want us to speak up. I need us to speak up. Yeah, our voice is not heard enough. So
yeah. No, I get it. But I honestly feel like what you guys are doing, finally touching bases with local comedians and having the monthly showcases and just wrapping up the funniest person in Columbus contest. It was for me personally speaking, it's been very beneficial for me, especially getting that club experience because that stage is different, when you work at a bar or anything like that. And the room is different as well. So I want to take this time to personally thank you and all the people behind it because that has tremendously helped my growth as a comic.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. We always want to try to get back to the actual all the comics, not only just in Columbus, but it's like any comedian wants to come through the funny one because it's an A+ club. Apex, that's where you start at. That's where I started at. So it's like,
man. Yeah, I love it in there, man. Then I started doing crowd work in there for the first time. Not a whole set, just a little 15 seconds here and there. I'm like, shoot, nigga, you brave. I was like, all right.
But Ty, you're funnier than you probably think you are. So that's the thing. So I mean, a lot of times comedians don't have that confidence. Like they think they don't know that they're funny until somebody actually tell them they're funny. Like coming from another comedian. So we sit back and we watch.
Yeah,
and we don't always laugh at the jokes, but we're like, yo, that's a funny bit. Yeah.
I appreciate that. I figured I was now I can't really remember because I was in a haze, but I don't know if you gave me a hug or if you just dapped me up, but you was like, bruh, you killed it tonight. And I was like, nigga, that's all the validation I need. Like, because I know you don't hand those out lightly, and we was tight for a second.
Yeah.
Like the whole conversation, you was in ear. I was like, shit, all right, cool. Then I did something right.
But I didn't really have to say that. It was the audience that gave it to you. So I mean, I just wanted to give you the extra love because we don't normally get it. So it was the audience, and that's why I always try to tell myself. Not only I take whatever I give to myself, I like to give to somebody else. The audience is who actually determines whether or not you're funny or not. And a lot of people have deaf ears. They think they're funny, but it doesn't come off funny to the audience, and they still think they'll keep still doing the same bits over and over again. And that's what I'm trying to get people out of it. Even myself, sometimes I'll listen to it. I'm like, all right, that wasn't good. Let me change up something. So, and with you had lightning in a bottle that night, and I remember the set. So
man. I felt I was so sorry because, like, all right, so listen, when the word competition is involved, I'm real competitive. So I'm like, I'm not normally a competitive guy, like outside of that, but competition, like, let's go. Like, so like when I did an advance, I was kind of salty, but then like, I don't know, to hear you like fight for me, I really appreciated that. Like you was like, no, bro, I'm gonna say something. Like I was like, dang, like, did I really like do that? Like I thought it was just like, like an average set or whatever. So thank you for that as well. And I'm gonna ask you on the spot too.
Go
Since I
ahead.
was an alternative, does that mean like I was a finalist or like I've been trying to explain this to people. I'm like, I think I am, but I'm not sure. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's the finalists for the, like, you was first up. So if somebody was going to drop out or something like that, I said Ty is going in. I mean,
yeah,
just the whole judging. To be honest with you, I don't like judging us. I don't like judging my
yeah,
peers as comedians, even though I'm running the showcase. But like I said, if somebody's going to do it, I love comedy. I love
yeah,
the joke writing. I love the process, every step, whether I'm doing well on stage or you setting the stage on fire. I love the whole process of it. So
yeah,
I said, well, why not? Try to help out or just give you guys some advice, even behind the scenes with it. Like, hey, that joke was, well, a little bit of work, or you was on fire. I mean, I'm not capping like that, but your set was fire that night, and I
yeah,
believed in that. So
yeah.
you had the audience from the beginning, and you had them to the end. So it was I know the contest is tough. Have you? I know, man. I know. Have you always been a competitor or what?
Yeah. I don't know where I got it from. I think growing up, I ain't gonna lie, I was real soft, and then like a football coach called me out on it. Like he was just like, "Bro, you're just soft," and I was like, "Damn, all right, cool. Like I'm not gonna be soft no more." Then, like, and then like running track, and then like in high school, and I went to Eastmore, so like our team is well known, so. You not in no little boy meets, you in big boy meets. So you racing against niggas that's 6'4", and you like, I'm 5'5". How the freak am I gonna beat them? But then you line up against them and you realize it's not about the muscles or the height. It's really just about speed and the mental that you have. And same with comedy too. So once I started doing that more, I just like when I play Uno, we playing best of 7. If I win 4 in a row, like it's done. Like I won. Like so,
I'm a competitor too. I've always been a competitor. I mean, I was small, so I've always had
yeah,
to fight for what I wanted anyway. So even now, like little kids, I don't have them with nothing. It doesn't
yeah,
matter. I mean, I could be racing. I'm gonna blow you out the water, run as
yeah,
fast as I can, and like, okay, well, you try it better next time. That's how I
yeah.
look at it.
Now, one thing you did say, I just interviewed Tony Cruz, and he said that the night of the finals, you gave him some advice, and the advices you gave him, I was like, all right, I'm gonna use this same advice. So what I did for the funniest person in Cincinnati contest on Tuesday, I arranged my set, and this is the first time I actually like thought about it. Usually, I think about what jokes could I easily transition to next, so it don't make it seem like I'm all over the place. But I was like, what jokes, well, how can I arrange this set? And what I just did what you told him to do was put the self-deprecating jokes first and then put all the other jokes after that. And it really worked. You know me, I
Yeah.
come for white people. So I put that towards the end. I put that towards the very end, and it got me through. It got me
Yeah.
through. So, and I was the first name they called for semi-pro. So I feel very,
Wow.
very
I
confident going
seen
forward.
that, man.
Yeah,
Congrats, man. That's
I appreciate that.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
it
that
was a
just
good
that
night.
just proves it. That proves though. Comedy. I mean, I love set writing. Like, and when we first go on stage, it's like, okay, what do I open up with? You always want to open up with something where it's like within the first 20 seconds, at least try to have them laughing. And if it's
Yeah,
about yourself, then it's easy to receive. Then it's open for anybody else. You can talk about somebody at that point. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I
So
really.
how did you get into comedy? Like, were you drunk one night, or did the family ever tell you, or a coworker like, man, you hella funny, you should get on stage? Like, what's that story? What's your origin story?
Well, I stumbled into the club. I thought it was like I was going there for karaoke. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. No, like that. My college professor, man, he read one of my creative papers, and he was a comedian from London.
Okay.
And the paper I wrote on was about me almost dating my sister growing up, because my dad has 18 kids, and I went out with
Yeah.
a couple of my friends, and we went back to her place, and my dad's photo was sitting on her mantle. I was like, "Hey, who's that?" And she was like, "That's my dad." I was like, "Yeah, that's my dad too." Um, we didn't do nothing. Just held hands. So, and so he said, "Is this real?" I said, "Yeah, it's real, man. It's real." So, he was like, "You need to do comedy." He said, "I want you to go down to the Funny Bone. I'm gonna put you in a contest." That was my first thing into a contest. I mean, obviously I failed miserably.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was terrible, but I loved it. I was like, all right, but I'm a competitor like you, Ty. Like it. Once
Yeah.
I failed, I said, hey, I got to come back.
Yeah.
Uh,
So how long have you been in the game of comedy? How long have you been doing comedy?
Probably about 15 years. However, most headliners would say about 3 years because they say you've been practicing for 12 because you haven't, you still have a safety net. So when you're doing comedy full time with nothing behind it, that's when they say your clock really starts. So they say, yeah, I know, right? So they say you're just practicing, and so you're not a comedian. So they keep telling me this. So I'm like, all
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
yeah.
No, I get it, because I'll be like, man, you do that full time, man. You gotta be in your bag, man. You gotta stay booked because
You do.
and I think that was my struggle early on. I'm only 3.5 in this fall before. So that was my struggle early on. I'm like, man, I gotta hurry up and get there as quickly as possible, but I'm not really too concerned about that. And then I just started to focus on actually knowing how to write a joke and then letting my sense of humor fly through there. And then after focusing on that, now I've been booked like every month. Just
Really?
yeah, like this is my first time being booked every month. Like at least one gig. Like, and I just the whole last year I wasn't trying to get booked or nothing like that. Plus I didn't know how to get booked, but I just was just like, let me just focus on writing and just focus on that. And it's been paying off.
So how did you start out with the writing? What process are you using?
What I did was I was like, all right, what do I do good at? I was like, I tell stories. I was like, all right, that's gonna be easy. But how do we get better at telling stories? Let's punch up like how to tell shorter jokes. I wanted to do something to challenge myself. So I was like, let's do shorter jokes. And I was like, who do I look up to? One of my favorites is Dion Cole, and I feel like Dion Cole, Earthquake, and Mike Epps all have the same style. They just kind of go with longer tags. Dion kind of goes shorter along with
Yep.
Mike, and then Earthquake kind of go with longer tags. So I just really started to study them and was like, all right, here's the premise, here's the tag. So I was like, all right, what's an idea that I have? Came up with the idea, and I was like, all right, now just write 3 tags underneath that. Just do that, and I just kept following that pattern to like learn how to write shorter jokes. And once they started to work, then I was like, all right, now I can kind of like, because like every time I go on stage, I'll look in the audience and I'll come up with the first joke in my head and then I'll go from there. So then sometimes I'll take those first jokes, turn those into like shorter jokes or whatever. So that's when I started to record everything I do. Like this new joke that I have, I just titled it New Joke, where I talk about comics getting on stage and how they always say, "Hey, I got a new joke," blah blah blah. And so I freestyled that, but I like remembered that, and I was like, "Oh yeah, let me write this down. Like this is a good." So yeah, I just stopped relying on my bread and butter and just focus on my weaknesses to try to make me
Oh,
better.
okay.
Yeah.
So is there one joke that you love, like particularly when I get on stage, it's gonna smash, or it's gonna do well every time, like it's proven. Do you have one? Like, and this is the title. You don't even have to tell the joke. What's the title of
Yeah.
the joke?
I would say the Alexa joke.
Alexa. Okay.
But now, even the Cincy joke, the Cincy comic joke.
I know that one.
And that was a true story. And I just seen him on Tuesday too. So I didn't tell him beforehand. I didn't tell him beforehand. And when we was on stage, I was like, hey, you know that joke is about. He's like, yeah, because I said the same thing. And I was like, yeah. And that joke was written on accident because he was talking to me, and I was like, so I wasn't aware that they don't have as many black comics in Cincinnati. So when he said that, I'm like, what are you talking about? So I wrote it at home. And I said something like totally different. And it was funny, but then I was like, nah, say Jeffrey Dahmer. And I was like, and I wrote it down, and then I think I said it at a club at like an open mic, and it like the room blew up, and I was like, and I looked at it and I was like, oh, because this makes more sense. But I was high when I wrote it. So I wasn't even paying attention. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, that one hit. That one hit all the time. That one, yeah, that one
So do you
pretty
do you get high before you write jokes, or you just like that's just,
much.
or is it better that way? Do you feel like that's your
Nah,
go-to?
I don't need to be high. I just happen to be high. Cause sometimes I write jokes at work on my lunch break. So I'll do
Mm.
that. Yeah, I don't need to be high. I just do it. Really, I just be high, especially at mics, because like my anxiety be high, bruh. I used to have panic
Oh.
on stage and nobody would know it. Yeah. Like I used to like my panic attacks would happen either like right when I got on stage or right when I was about to like bring up the host. Like I would just like Xavier G, like it just mess it all the way up and having a panic attack. And then like I didn't know what to say when I first got up there. So then one day I was looking at the audience. I was like, it's a lot of white people, and I was like, "What's up, Caucasians?" And that's why I keep saying it, because before that I didn't have no way to like introduce myself, and I would just start having panic attacks. And I was like, "We got to figure it out." So that's where that came from. Like I just whatever little trick works, like
So you just kept repeating Caucasian over and over again?
Yep, I just wherever I went, like because it's really, I mean, you be having black audiences, but not all the time.
Yeah.
And I kind of hate that because I feel like that's kind of like not my strong suit is black people sometimes.
Or are you talking about like black people or
Yeah, the niggas,
or
yeah.
okay, I'm gonna make
Because like they just be looking at me and I'll be like, bruh, like I know I'm funny, but like when I be on stage, I don't know how to translate to them yet. So like, and that's even with my writing. I felt like I was writing too much to white people, and I was like, okay, we can't do that. Like we just gotta find a way to make it funny that they gonna have to understand. Like that's another challenge I'm working on now. Is like not playing to the audience too much and just really going up there and saying what I want to say. So earlier this year in January, I did a show with Mo Hill, and it was like a nigga crowd, and they was not rocking with me. They was not rocking with
Oh,
me.
okay.
But when I got off the stage, I was like, before I got off, I was like, "F y'all, I know I'm funny." And then I was talking to Chris, I was talking to Neff, and he was like, "Yeah, you gotta write more jokes about yourself." And then ever since then, that's when I just start, boom, boom, boom.
I mean, like most black crowd, they love to hear you talk about just yourself
Yeah,
and stuff that's so relatable that we all can actually just join in. They love to be screamed at. That's what I mean. A lot of times I've
yeah,
seen it
yeah,
because I struggle with that. I do. So I have to like I've learned now. Okay, how can I write to them? They want to hear something silly.
yeah.
Like I did a show at a prison, which I did, and I was like, okay, it was cool doing a show at the prison, but I got scared when my GPS got scared. Because the GPS starts stuttering like man, you're on your own. And I said, yeah, I get it. I know what I'm about to face in here. So, and that's the kind of stuff they just want to hear, like the stupid. I mean, and you just got to be, yeah, just can't be afraid of them. And
Yeah,
once
yeah,
they smell it,
yeah, yeah,
and man, and when they smell it, whoo, they
yeah.
gonna turn off on you in a second. Everybody turn their chair around on you, like man, you don't even listen to him no more. Yeah, and that's what happens.
Message.
Yeah.
You know what room helped me with that was Beyond the Bricks, because it was straight nigga room. Like and
Wow.
you was up there for 10 minutes. So that's how I kind of got over everything and got better at crowd work. I was just like, all right, because you know, new mics, all comics be there, and then after they just dwindle away. But I was like, nah, I'm gonna keep going to this one, even if it's because it be some comics where it's just me and Neff, you know, or me and Rodney. So I was like, I'm gonna go because it's
Yeah.
making me better. I'm terrified up here, but I don't give a fuck. Like we gonna figure it out, you know. And I did that for like for pretty much a year. Like for the whole
Oh,
year it was open. So that room really like shrunken, of course, but that room really helped me, like for real, because they was tough in there. You had to earn it. You
that's
had to
like
earn it.
there's a club. I mean, well, Cleveland Improv is like that. So if you ever get a chance to go up there and you can really grace the stage in the Cleveland Improv, you know what you're gonna be facing. So
Yeah,
you gotta come with some fire, man, or it's a wrap.
yeah.
Because it used to be at the Funny Bone. We used to have the Urban Night on Wednesdays,
Mm-hmm.
and when I say, whoo, Ty, when I say it was bad, they gave them the opportunity to shake you off the stage.
Mm-mm.
So if they didn't like your joke, people's keys would come out. Sha, cha, 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 cha. Yeah, it was over with. It was a done deal, and you had to get off the stage. And I'm like, yeah, but you need that.
Yeah, I wish we had that here, because when I watched Fat Tuesdays, I was like, man, we can't even have these stories. I mean, the bar and the open mics and stuff, that's cool, but like I was like, dang, like I felt like I was missing that club experience, and that would kind of made me bitter about the scene. But once you started to open it up and things like that, I became less bitter about it and noticed that even if they didn't open up, they ain't got nothing to do with me. Like I can go somewhere else, you know what I'm saying? So I started to do that. Started to go to
Right.
Cincinnati, started to go to Dayton, and I got a showcase out of the Funny Bone out there, but I didn't arrange my set right. I'm looking back, I'm like, yeah, you didn't arrange that one right, brother. But you know, live and learn, you know. So
Yeah. That's, I mean, they say that's the hardest thing is like your opening joke and the closer. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, you open up strong, they'll listen to you. At least got a, like a minute, 2 minute grace period. But then, yeah, it starts going bad. You got to close strong. I mean,
yeah.
even in a 5 minute set.
I did
So,
the. I opened up with the hairline joke on Tuesday.
and that's good.
Yeah, I had to. I was like, we gotta. I followed what you said. I was like, we gotta start off strong, and I put the Nickelback joke towards the end, but I don't know. They was rocking with the Alexa joke more. I ain't never had more laughs on that one. Like they was rocking with that one more, but I put that one before last. So yeah, and I only had one white person joke. It was short. It was quick out of there. Like, cause I'll be going in, bro. I'll be going in.
I
Like,
know. I know. I know. But you just at this point you can't care. I mean,
yeah,
you really can't. You really can't. You know your stuff is relatable, and you just got to say it with so much conviction. Like, okay, you really believe it, and that
yeah,
separates the black rooms and like the mainstream rooms. If it's a
yeah,
black room, you really have to believe what you're saying, and
yeah,
say it
yeah,
with a lot of conviction. Like, yo, this is crazy. This is what just happened.
yeah, yeah. One thing I wanna one thing I definitely wanna commend you on is not giving up. And what I mean by that is you work hand in hand, at least to my knowledge, with Jason Banks, and he's
Hmm.
taking off. He got a special, he's blown up on social media. And
Yeah.
one could be as close to them and get jealous. One could get envious or be like, dang, when's gonna be my turn? Or just be like, you know what, I'm quitting, like, blah, blah, blah. Or
Right.
just kind of ride the coattail. But unbeknownst to a lot of people, like you doing your own thing right now, like you
Yeah.
paving your own way, and I think that's so dope because, like, I always tell people, like, your friends are a reflection of you. So if one friend get a house, you should be getting excited because you about to get a house. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So now you're doing your own thing, man. You're in the World Series of comedy. You're one of the hot streets. Everybody's got your name on their list. Like, how does that feel? And now you're getting your own recognition. It's your own time, and you're being celebrated. Like, how does that feel?
Well, it's a, you know what, I always say we should take advantage of all the opportunities we can get. Even working with Jason, I learned a lot. Just being on the road with them, featuring, I learned a lot. What to do, the do's and don'ts of like being on the road. And actually gave me an opportunity to actually get in front of bigger crowds, meet like GMs, work on my set. And then now, just put myself out there. And so I even took the leap of faith with the World Series of Comedy because it was like, it's a huge festival
Yeah,
and they take the top 101 people going across the U.S. And so when I jumped in, I was like, okay, you start out, maybe doing 5 minutes, but I mean, I have time. I do
yeah,
have time. So if you've been doing like a feature set and you're trying to headline and they reduce you down to 5 minutes, it's kind of hard to actually reduce your set down. But I take the best material. And so I go into the first round in Arizona, make it out of the first round, make it to the semis, and then the final round you go against three comedians, and all you guys are doing 25 minutes. And so I ended up taking that trophy home, and I just got back from Minnesota, and I took that trophy home. So, but I'm
you're
gonna head
doing your
out to both.
thing.
I know, man. It's been a fun ride, man. And not saying that none of the comedians they're not funny. It was just had a better set that night.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so, like any other day, you may have a bad set. You may not be feeling well. You may not bring out the same energy.
yeah.
But I don't look at it as a competition. I don't compete against comedians, man. I
Mhm.
That's my biggest thing. I do not compete against comedians. I compete against myself every
Yeah,
time. I said, hey, you need to go on stage and give the best performance to this audience. Then it's up to you, Ty. You coming up behind me, you need to do the same thing.
yeah,
I know people can say, okay, we're in a competition, but I'm just not in a competition. I don't view it as a competition. I
yeah,
competition with myself like the entire time. So, and it's been fun, man. I've met a lot of funny comedians and just the staffs and stuff that I've run into.
hmm,
And I got to get a shout out to Heather Williams that's out in the House of Comedy in Arizona. She's really taken a liking into me, and so I appreciate that. She's going to put me on a lot of stuff, so I
That's
can't
what's up.
give all the details to it, but it's coming soon.
All you
So
need is one person to like you, man. That's what I'm starting to realize. I feel like Just hearing the scene, I'm not just saying just here. I'm pretty sure it happens anywhere. Like so many people, like they feel like, okay, I gotta get close to this person. You know, this person gonna take me along with them, and it's like it's really like you just gotta do the work yourself. And like whoever like you, whoever don't. Now you got a consistent pipeline in Arizona. Like you know what I'm saying. So I feel like that's real important. Like just be yourself.
Right. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean, have you been in like New York or anything like? Have you?
I
Yeah.
haven't been in New York, but I've done comedy in Chicago and in LA.
Ooh, how was Chicago?
Chicago was it was rough, but it was like so I only did like one mic, but I'm definitely so I have a writing partner and he's from Chicago and he throws his own shows. Shout out to Dave Bradley, he was on the show. So I'm probably gonna hit him up and ask him, can I do another one of his shows? But like, yeah, they yell out in the back. They don't give a fuck. Like they yell out like all through in the set. And I'm just like, but I handle my own though. Like they was laughing and stuff. And and LA was cool. LA took me back the first time because LA it was at an open mic, but but this year when I went, it was actual for a show. But when I went last year for open mic, they weren't laughing. Like
Mm,
you get so used to laughs, but they weren't laughing. Like the comics were really listening to your joke. Like, and I felt safe for the first time. Like I didn't feel like people were competing, because here some people take open mics at shows, and I get that. Uh, but then nobody was competing. Like they were just really listening. And then this one
right.
comic came up to me afterwards and shout out Hank, and he was like, yeah, let's exchange information. I want to see where you go with this. Like, and come to find out that nigga an actor, like big movies and shit. Like you never, like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm saying. Like, we be fighting so hard to like get certain people to like us. Like if you just go up there and be yourself, like whoever rock with you, rock with you. But LA is cool. Like when I did the show this year, LA was cool. It was fun. It was cool. That was a black show. That was a black room. It was very cool. It's a lot of people out there. Then me and Shayna.
Oh,
That was fun. Like that. So I was up for like 24 hours because I left like probably like early in the morning. And then I got to Palm Springs. I was going for Coachella. Then I had to hurry up, get to my Airbnb, and get to LA. And then me and Shayna and Lucas was hitting mics. And then we went to the Comedy Store that night. That was my first time at the Comedy Store.
y'all
I
got
was
to perform at the Comedy Store. You got to perform at the Comedy
No, I didn't
Store.
get to perform. I didn't get to perform.
Oh, okay.
I just got to
Okay.
like experience it.
Oh,
But
you got there to
yeah,
smell the environment.
yeah. And I was just like, man, I'm in heaven right now. Cause like and it was just like, yeah, it was like those little moments right there. I try to hold on to those because like when you are like 15 years in the game, you might be like, man, like when's it gonna be my turn? But it's like those moments right there you keep striving for and living for.
See, I've never felt that way. Even with the 15 years, I've never said, "Hey, when is it my turn?" I just said, "You know
Yeah.
what? I'm gonna continue with because I'm in love with the process.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love writing, man. I mean, I come up with stuff every day, and I just write it. And it may not be done like in the full joke, but I know at some point I'm gonna develop it, and it's gonna.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I'm a physical comedian. I love being physical on stage. I
Yeah.
don't stand behind the mic. I'm gonna act it out. I'm gonna show you something like, "Hey, let me show you an old lady."
Yeah.
That's what I'll do. Or some dude that's like, he could have a little cerebral. I mean, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I just like being physical and just moving around. But I try not to insult people, but I've been told that not everybody's always going to be happy at shows, no matter what you say. Someone's going to have a problem with it.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. I've said some stuff on stage and I'll be like, dang, I didn't even realize the joke I just made about my family member was here and they could have thought that was about them, but it wasn't. I did. I don't think about that till I get to the last tag. I was like, oh, cuz all right, they ain't say nothing, so we good.
all right. So do you have? How do you deal with hecklers? Do you?
How I deal with hecklers is I usually ask them where do they work at, and then they tell me, and then I'll be like, are you gonna be there Monday? And then they'll be like, yeah, and I'll be like, what time? And they tell me the time, and then I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna come to your job and mess with you. Like
Oh.
I either do that or I'm trying to get out of it, but then I just like uh
Oh, so you already have something. You already have something ready for them.
yeah, like
Oh, okay.
I'll ask them uh like do they watch interracial porn? That's like what go to. But other than that, yeah, I'm still trying to learn because sometimes I'll be well. One time I took a heckler real personal, and I was like, okay, we're not gonna do that again. So, but
Ooh.
but
You went there with him.
yeah, I did. I didn't need to. How do you deal with hecklers?
I mean, I don't. You know what? To be honest with you, Ty, I don't get heckled a lot. I
Yeah.
mean, I think it's my persona on stage. I come off as this, why I'm a nice guy. So when I go up on stage, it's like, all right, I'm physical. They're usually laughing. Now, the only time it was in Colorado this past year when a dude walked up on stage.
Oh yeah, tell me
What?
about that. I meant to ask you about that.
Yeah. It was wild though. I mean, it was a crazy weekend because in Colorado they smoke a lot of weed and
Yeah.
they do a lot of drugs. I mean, I don't know what. Yeah, they do a lot of drugs. And so I'm watching people come in because as a comedian, I'm watching people come in. I'm like, oh, okay, this is gonna be kind of. I mean, they drink it. I mean, they
Yeah.
was drinking, and I hear this couple. Why the host was up on stage, she's telling him like, we're gonna turn up in here. I'm thinking, okay, they gonna turn up, and it's the same couple. So I guess the lady told the husband or whatever the husband, like, you should just walk up on stage. That's what I've been told would happen.
Hmm.
But he was on some type of pills and medicine. So I'm on stage and everyone thinks it's part of the crowd. I set this up, but I didn't. And this guy
Yeah.
just comes up on stage, sits in the stool, and tells me, "Yeah, I'm here to interrupt your show." I'm looking like, yo, I thought somebody was playing a prank on me because I got nervous. Inside, I'm like scared. But as a comedian, you can't show that. So I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh. I'm like, man. And they take him off the stage. And I started ripping into him.
Yeah.
And I was like, because I at that point I said I'm gonna lose the show. If you don't actually address it, you'll lose the whole room. And
Yeah.
so I just started addressing it, telling them, Colorado got a lot of weed smokers. I get it. Y'all think y'all can do anything.
Yeah.
This dude
Yeah.
felt invincible. Yeah. But I
I'm
was
not
messed
there yet.
up.
I'm
Yeah.
not
I was
there
like,
yet. My fault. Go ahead.
yeah, I just kept telling him like, hey, but I did mess up. That is my Uber driver for tomorrow. I mean, it was all that stuff. So you just keep messing with him until the crowd calms back down and let you know that you at least got control of the room, and then you
Okay.
continue the show. Yeah, it's professional.
Okay. Because when I be doing crowd work at like clubs, I'll be like, all right, I can't do too much because I only got 5 minutes. So I just that be in the back of my head. I be want to say more, but then again, I'll be a little like I'm confident in it when it comes to like open mics and bar shows. But when it be on like an actual comedy club stage, I'll be like, all right, I'm only gonna go so far with this crowd work because I don't know, I don't be too confident in it yet. The stage, that's why my goal, I was like, all right, let me get to 10, let me get to 20, let me get to 30. Just try to set a goal so I can get more comfortable with being on the stage of a comedy club because it's a whole different type of stage and audience.
Yeah, and then you're gonna deal with different audiences. Like I even do cruise ships, so that's even like I mean,
I did not know you do cruise shops, cruise ships. Tell me about that because I heard they.
well, tell me what you heard first before we go into it. Give me your synopsis. Tell me what
So
rumors have you heard?
there's this comedian. I listen to this podcast called Daddy Issues. There's this comedian by Keon Poley. He be doing a lot of cruise ships, and he be talking about how like the little freaky couples be on there with the pineapples and stuff. And he was like, if I make sex jokes, they come up to me after the show and be like, "Hey, are you really into that?" Like he be like telling them like, "Nah, I got a wife. Like it's just a joke." Is it really like that? Like
I mean, you know what? You're on a cruise ship with like what 5,000 people. I mean, you're gonna
yeah,
get a few walks of life. You're confined into a big city onto a floating city. That's all what you're doing. So you're gonna see everything. Yeah,
yeah.
you can see that. I mean, there's swingers. I mean, there's everybody on the ship. So whatever you're looking for, you're gonna find it. And yeah, I've seen that.
I was
I,
about to say I like your PR and media rep because that was a good. There's 5,000 people on there. You know, I just
I mean, if you're looking for it, you're gonna find it. So I mean, they got everything on it. They got their own jail on the
yeah.
yeah.
But
They got all that.
I thought that was dope that because I didn't know because I never been on a cruise ship, so I thought that was dope that comics do comedy on cruise ships because that's another way, don't always have to be in the club. That's another avenue to, collect some revenue. So I thought that was always dope.
It's a misconception too. A lot of people say, "Oh, people comics that go on cruise ships, that's where their career died." That's not it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a lie. I mean, because I mean, in essence, you're doing shows like every other day, and then like you're doing a theater show in front of 3,000 people. So if you really are, focused on your comedy and you know what you're doing, those shows could be like starting your a big career. You can get taping with 3,000 people. It sounds great. I mean, it could basically just catapult you into something else. So the whole
Yeah.
misconception saying, "Oh, the cruise ships that's just for washed up comedians," that's a lie. So I
Yeah.
mean, that's something I will say.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
but the
Okay.
only thing it is, you do have to do a kid friendly show, and most people can't do kid friendly,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then you can do your adult show.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I often, well, not often, I see you here and there at open mics, and this was before I knew how like big you were, how long you were in the game. So like sometimes comics be like, at a certain point you got to stop going. Why do you continue to go, and why is it important in general for you to go to open mics?
because they say you can do the. This is my biggest thing. If I'm writing a new joke, I really don't want to perform it in front of a live audience that people have actually paid for. That's just the respect out of from like the people that's actually coming out and supporting live comedy. So if I
Hmm.
go out to an open mic, I want to be treated like I'm an open micer at that point. That's who I am. I'm on the same platform as you. I want to go and push the jokes out, see what it works, go back, rewrite it, maybe sit down with somebody like you, Ty, or somebody say, "Hey, what did you think about that?" Because I want to know. You may have a
Yeah.
suggestion for me, and I never want to be like not in tune with the local comedy scene. I want to see who's next coming up.
Yeah.
So if there's a show or something I'm on, and I see you at a like an open mic, hey man, we're doing this show. I want to be in tune with everybody that's actually still doing comedy,
Yeah.
because most of your peers probably won't be doing it in the next 7 years.
Yeah.
The people that you're with right now won't be doing it. They're just basically like a lot of like headliners will say they're just in the way, and so yeah, and you
That
see it. We'll be
you
honest with
know, so like when I first got into the game, I did the lamest shit ever. I emailed Bobby Dobbs and John Bruton, and like I was like, yeah, can y'all be my mentor? I didn't know. Like I didn't know. But like I wish somebody, like, maybe it was me, I wasn't as receptive. I know I'm pretty quiet, but like I wish somebody would have grabbed me and be like, listen, this is how it goes. Because I'll be sitting there and I'll just be like, nigga, like, can you get off the stage? Cuz like you wasting everybody's time right now, but
yeah.
you learn. That's why I tell people it's important to go to open mics. You learn who's a hobbyist. You learn, okay, I can't say this, because I thought, yeah, make fun of white people, they'll laugh every time. No, they won't.
No, no.
But you learn all that at open mics. So I value open mics. I always want to go to one just to to test and see what works and what don't work. And when I do a joke that I just wrote last week, if I'm doing it on a show or a club, it's because I for sure have confidence in it. Like for sure, for sure. And that was like with the Jeffrey Dahmer joke. First time I said that open mic, they loud as I was like, oh yeah, let's save this one.
And
Like,
put it, yeah, and
yeah,
put it in the chamber. So that,
yeah.
yeah, but I love open mics. I mean, I like the whole freestyle of it because there's no pressure on me at that point. If it
Yeah,
doesn't go well, you didn't pay for it. You just basically running through some material, and then I'll just come back the next time.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, I love them.
So what would be next? Okay, so I'm just gonna take me as an example. What would be next for me? So like do open mics, and now you're doing open mics in clubs. So the goal should be to continue to do that, to get like, what would be next? Like I don't know like the actual steps. I know
I,
everybody's different, but like, okay, you do open mics, then you get open mics at clubs, and you get booked for hosting or whatever, and then you become a feature head. Like, what's the steps?
yeah, so I mean, it really depends on how much time do you have? Like, if I go on stage, it's going to do well. How much time do you have? What do you think?
Probably like 8 to 10. I'm gonna just be
8 to
honest.
10.
8 to 10.
Okay, 8 to 10. So I mean, at that point, you want to host. So
Hmm.
by you doing the contest you're doing now, you win it, you're expected to host for somebody. And then you can
Okay.
always come into the club and continue. I always tell people, show your face at the club that's in your town because they
Hmm.
want to see your face. Go to the shows, and then you may be able to pop in and may do a guest spot. You may be able to meet one of the headliners. And then, yeah, at that point, you're just basically starting the process. So by your face not being shown, they don't really know who you are.
Yeah.
They don't know that. I don't know that's Ty Erskine. I was like, okay, if Ty comes in once a month and comes in and steps to the back of the room, is watching the show, and you may see the club owner and say, "Oh, I'm Ty." You introduce yourself. The next time they see it, "Oh, that's Ty. You just come in and watching the show."
Yeah.
That way they know you're actually serious about it. Because some
Okay.
people they're just not serious about comedy.
Yeah.
Again, they're just doing it as, like you said, they could just be a little small hobby. And that's fine. But the ones that's really serious, you'll know they'll take the same path.
Okay. Okay. I try not, you know me, I try not to go up to talk to too many people because I realize a lot of people are fickle. Some people just be wanting to gravitate to you just, but then when they see the work that got to be put in, they kind of like fizzle away. So I kind of just let my jokes do the talking for me. Then you speak or whatever, I'll be like, "Oh yeah, what's up?" Because I know everybody trying to get you, and I don't want to, seem like a little bugaboo. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Ty, man, I've been open, man. I love comedy. So if we want to sit
yeah,
down, we talk comedy, we can talk jokes, we can go over
yeah,
your set. I love watching it, helping like critique it and making stuff better because it's making me better. Like if I'm
yeah,
helping you with a joke, it's going to help my writing process too. So
yeah,
yeah, I like giving back. I mean, so many people gave back to me. Like my big brother Keith Bender, man, I said it, he's given me so much like this confidence and like just in my material. He's always adding, say, "Hey, you should try it this way." Pushes that way. Any big comedians, you always gonna see they're gonna have a crew of people on the side, like, "Yo, do it this way, put this
yeah,
right here, adjust
yeah,
this here, say it like this," and then you go and you do it, and it works, and you're like, "Okay, this is my crew. I know who I'm rocking with."
yeah.
So
How
yeah.
does it feel now to be getting, you getting flued out now? Like, how does that?
But this is what we all work for it though, right? This is what
Yeah,
you mentally you visualize. Hopefully you're visualizing it. I
yeah, yeah,
dreamed of this. I want to be a headliner. I just want to
yeah,
be a big headliner and be able to travel the world and just entertain people. And
yeah,
that's my love of it. I love to entertain people. So as if I can give them something to laugh about, even if it's on self-deprecating, even about myself or something we can relate to, I'm for it, man. I mean,
yeah,
that's the world we're living in now.
yeah,
Um, but the
yeah,
difference is, how do you feel like you have to do everything on social media? Because I mean,
yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I didn't know that it was such a business coming into it, and then I be listening to Hot Breath podcast, and just one GM, I think he was at the Comedy Theater in Atlanta, one of them down there,
Yeah,
and he was like, "You need to post like 3 times a day," and I was like, "3 times a day," and I was like, and it kind of made me nervous about posting my material, but I'm like, dog, like by I'm like, by time I get to like even where I want to be, this joke will either be written better or long gone. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't even worry about that no more. Um, I just try to put out at least something presentable. So that way if people be like Ty Erskine, they type it in and be like, all right, I'll keep an eye out on them or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just the consistency. I'm just learning just with that has helped me with consistency in comedy. Like always consistency writing,
right.
always consistently going to mics, always consistent, doing all that. So it just kind of kept me consistent. And two, then I was like, it really is important because if you look at Kevin Hart, that's kind of how he got, like, he just took advantage of it. Like every one of them, you know what I'm saying? Like now, I mean, he just got TikTok, but he really didn't need to get it. Like he was already, blowing up.
Big.
So I just try to focus on the consistency of it. You know what I'm saying? And at least show people at least why they should come out to my show
Uh,
with this joke.
Man, I have a hard time posting my material online. I
Yeah.
mean, I posted one. I'm like, all right. I posted one about like my Starbucks joke. I'm still working on it though. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm like, all right, do I? And I posted it. Yeah, it gets a lot of likes, but I'm like, it's not done.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so
But I like that though, because then they like, okay, because like if you think about it, like, do you like the movie Friday?
yeah,
You know, already seen it hella times. You already know what's gonna be said next, but you still laugh. So it's like, but now another Ice Cube movie come out might make you want to go see it. So it's like, all right, yeah, you got to show. I'm gonna come check you out. Now you already know I'm about to tell this joke. You hear it, but now you hearing it differently. Like that hairline joke, I changed that so many times. Like you don't know how I'm gonna say it when I get there. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I kind of think about it. Like they're not gonna really see all of it. And if they do, then they get to experience it live. That's how I see it.
that's how you see it. I
Yeah,
see it.
what I'm
Oh man, I'm like,
saying?
man, they seen this joke because they think that. But most people who don't know comedian style, they think that we come up with stuff like on the spot
Yeah.
all the time. And I mean, yeah, it can happen that way, especially if we're doing crowd work. But a lot of our stuff is already, we know exactly where it's going.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the part of they don't understand about comedies. Like they know what jokes they're doing. If you come to the 7 o'clock show, you're gonna probably see the same material on the
Yeah.
9:30, 10 o'clock show.
I
So
think it would be beneficial if there was like either a documentary or like a movie about how to be a comic so people can understand the craft or the art. Because I think we could get more people to come out to open mics and that would make us better comics because they know the process. Now they're like, okay, I want to see this joke suck and then get all the way to like kill it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I
type.
think
That's
that'd be
what I
valuable.
said. That'd be. I wanted to do like a podcast like this, and
Hmm.
you just have people like type in a subject matter, and then they can give it whatever pointers they want, and then we create the joke, and then we go out to an open mic, we do the joke, videotape it, and then put it right back online. This is what y'all created.
Yeah,
Granted, it's going to help us.
yeah,
It'll
yeah,
help us, but we're like, okay, well, and then they were just pumped up. They're like, okay, we created it, help them create this joke.
yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm like, yeah, I mean, I think that'd be cool though, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I got all these crazy ideas though,
Oh
but
yeah, me too, man. No, I'm a writer. I write scripts. I was so I really wanted to write a movie with have like David Arnold in it because he teaches so many people. And that's like that was one of my favorite comics. And I was like, man, if I could have him play something and he like teach like the master sensei that comes out from the dark and just this how it's done. You don't know what you're doing, like that type of movie. But like, yeah, I feel like it would be beneficial if we had like a movie like showing a young kid trying to come up in comedy and he freaking sucks. And then like we see the process of how it's done. I think that would be beneficial
that's
and funny
dope.
as fuck too. Like, yeah,
Oh yeah, oh absolutely, yeah. That's
yeah,
that's a good idea.
yeah,
So I mean, I know the only person that had something like that was Jerry Seinfeld, but he had it when he had retired and he was trying to come back. And
yeah,
that's the angle he came at with it. But no one's ever done it like from somebody being a kid.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I mean, the only person I would think like Mason Pryor. I mean, I don't know. Have you heard of Mason Pryor? Like
Mm-mm.
Richard Pryor's son?
No, I never heard of
Oh yeah, but I mean,
him.
I mean, I don't even know. I can probably say this, but I don't know how well he's doing now. But I know he struggled.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. He struggled a lot,
Yeah,
like even doing comedy. So I haven't seen him in years, but I know when he first started, he got like all the notoriety because he was Richard Pryor's son. Even
yeah,
here in Columbus, and then they expect big things out of you.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
if you're the son of somebody, like even if you're the son of Michael Jordan, they expect you to come in and at least jump for maybe the dots or something like that.
yeah,
Not the I mean, yeah, but it's like, I mean, you're holding that torch.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. I kind of yeah, I get it. I get it. I get it. What's one stage that when you do that and you sit in the green room, you like, dang, I made it now.
like if I could do it now,
When you finally get there, you're gonna be like, okay, I know I made it now because I'm at this venue and I've always wanted to do this here.
oh man, I would love any big theater that seats over like maybe 5,000 and 5,000 plus. It can be anywhere that I'm like, yo, this is, and you just hear that. I mean, I've been on a cruise ship where you're having like 2,500 people
Hmm.
laughing, and it's a different laugh because you have to wait on it. It comes
Yeah,
back in waves like you're in the ocean. That's how it just keeps coming in and keep coming. You got to sit there and you got to wait. But something like that, like maybe 5,000 plus,
yeah,
and everybody is there just to see you, and your name is up on the kiosk, and you're like, "Oh, I'm coming to see Ty Erskines," and you're like,
yeah,
"Ah," like that, and your name, yeah, that's big for me. I mean, I know Kevin Hart, they sold out like arenas, and I mean, that would be great, but
yeah,
mine is there. That's my plateau right there.
yeah.
But I know I can reach higher though. But,
Earlier, you said about you enjoy the journey and you don't look at the years. I started looking at it that way too, and like when I started getting in clubs, I was like, oh, this is cool. Now I want to learn how to work this and make this more frequent. But now but the long term goal now, that's a short term goal. The long term goal now is be like, all right, then we get in theaters as a feature and we learn how to work theaters. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
I think those steps is what makes it fun and makes it not look at, oh, I've been here for 11 years. I've been here for 20 years because you just keep going to different levels and you keep learning at that level.
yeah. You just gotta get the right circle, man. That's it. You get the right circle. I mean, they always say, I mean, I hear people always say, I rock with people that rock with me. I don't look at it that way. I say I'm picking who's going to be with me. It doesn't even matter. So even if they like me, all right, that's cool, but I'm still picking and choosing like the circle around people. I mean, because in lifetime, you only have a couple good friends that's loyal to you. You only have a couple, man, that's gonna stick with you like through thick and thin. Is like the whole being loyal, and it doesn't matter. But I'm gonna pick them. Everybody that's around me for now on going on, like going through the whole therapy thing. I'm like, that's what I've learned. Like, hey, pick them. Know who's around you, like, and really know them. So yeah.
No, expound on that, because I need so like just people in general, or just
people in general, because everyone has everyone has an intent. We all have a motive of what we're trying to get out of something, but you have some people, man, that are just genuinely on your side. No matter what, they're going to be on your side, and nothing's going to change with them. They have the same demeanor. Like some people have like childhood friends they've had for 30, 40 years. They've never changed. But then you have the people that you probably known for like probably about 5 years, and they change up on you because either something happened, they got some success, or they moved away. All those things, they really matter. And so you have the ability to pick who you want around you, even if they like you. And you feel like you vibing, you still have to be able to pick them. Like, okay, I like you, and I know that you like me, but you're not a good fit for what I got going on. Especially even with comedy, they say you circle yourself around like maybe 2 or 3 good comedians, but the rest of people should be something else. Somebody who's good at marketing. Some people is good with videography. So you try to circle yourself with all the things that's just going to actually create you to be even better. Because comedians, like you said, we're competitive, and at some point you got 5 comedians. 1 or 2 of those comedians is going to be competing against you. They're not going to like your success if you break out. They were like, yo, Ty, man, he's too much, man. Then they would start either hating on you or doing something where basically can actually, tarnish your name or the whole group that you're in. And that's what we need to avoid. So that's how I look at it. I mean, people probably have their own formula how they want to look at it now, but that's how I look at it now.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. I think when I say I rock with people who rock with me, I had a hard time trying to be picked. So now it was just like, I know my worth and value. So if you want to miss out, amen. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, but gaining friendships and comedy, I'm open to new relationships. They're beneficial. I think as we get older, we kind of shut down a little bit and be like, I only got 3 friends. Like, that's all it is. But you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not really a full experience of life. You know what I'm saying? Because you might meet a little 12-year-old boy that could just change your life. But if you so closed off and guarded, you're going to miss what that 12-year-old had to give to you, So, yeah.
Yeah. I'm open to everybody. Like, I'm open, but I do have boundaries, which I didn't know anything about that. I knew nothing about that, Ty. I went to the therapy. They said create some boundaries, and I created these boundaries now. So you come into my. I'm gonna let you know, man. You crossed the line. I'm not dealing with that. You got to go.
I definitely understand. I love this therapy growth here.
I told you, I've only been doing it for about a year. So it's it's been so helpful. Like it's helped me even with comedy. Because we deal with a lot of people on the road. You deal with a lot of people that's in your face, not only comedians, but you're going to deal with like audience members. People come up to you offering you stuff. I mean, you got to take photos. I mean, it's probably a lot of things after the end of the show. People think just because they paid the ticket, they have access to you. They want to touch you, smell on you. I mean, lick you. And I mean, it's like, yo, don't do that. Don't do that.
No, my therapist has helped me with that too. She was like, when you go on stage, make sure you go on stage with a purpose to say something. Don't just be going up there to say it just to say it. And she told me I have a people meter. She was like, yeah, you're done with people for the day. So I remember one time I was at open mic and we was talking, and I just said it. I was like, all right, I'm gonna admit this. And so I was like, yeah, my people meters ran out. I'm gone, and I left.
You said it on stage?
No, not on stage. Like,
oh, okay.
Yeah, So my therapist has helped me a lot, man. But as we start to land this plane here, man, who are the comedians that is on your Mount Rushmore?
Ooh, my Mount Rushmore. I mean, you got to have, I guess you do have to have the greats. I mean, even though they controversy does everything, but I like Bill Cosby. I like, because that's who I like. It doesn't matter how people feel about it. I do like Bill still. I like his comedy. I mean, not what he probably did, whatever stuff he did outside of comedy,
Yeah.
but I like Richard,
Okay.
Eddie, and how many people can I got on Mount Rushmore? How many can I
4.
add?
You only
Oh,
got
can I
4.
add 5? We can't can we have 5? um, um, I mean, I know people are gonna. I like Mark Curry.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and if I had to add a fifth, there's a guy named Pablo Francisco. Man, he's so physical, and if you've never watched his comedy, you should just watch it. If you like being physical, I mean, because I mean, you don't do a lot of physicality, right?
Man, at first I did, but yeah, I don't do it no more.
You don't feel comfortable, or what is it?
When I do stuff at home, it hits. But when I get on stage, it's like I used to be real good at doing voices, but I was like when I get on stage, it's like I don't know, I like get into a shell. So I think once I get over that, I'll get back to doing physical. But I definitely like physical though. I started off as physical. Yeah,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay,
But
yeah.
then I was like, but then like just going through stuff in life, and it just kind of shut me down. And so like 2020 was real rough for me. So I was like, I'm gonna go up here and do this comedy, even though I don't feel like it. And the only effort I had was to sit on a stool. So then we went from sitting on a stool to actually standing up, and hopefully we'll get back to being more physical. But yeah. It's like, nigga, I want to know more. Like, what's going on?
I think people just like doing. I mean, I like doing physicals. I think people look at it as like it's
Yeah.
TV.
Yeah,
They look
yeah,
at
yeah,
when they're
yeah,
in the audience, they want to see something silly, and I like being silly. I mean, I can
yeah,
still be myself even more physical even now, but it doesn't come out. I'm still holding on to it.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
What
I'm not completely vulnerable yet. So
what are some that's key right there, completely vulnerable.
yeah,
Authenticity. It'll show up on stage for sure.
yeah.
What are some words of encouragement or motivation you have for any comedian that's listening to this right now?
Stick to your roots, your guns. Trust who you are on stage, and just continue to write. If you don't write, I mean, you don't have longevity in this game. You have to write, and really, I mean, try. If you fell at it once, don't give up on the joke, and record your set every show, no matter what. Record every show, and then when you watch the video, this is the only thing that, I mean, the terms that I've always gone by. When I watch a video of myself, I watch it as myself the first time. The second time, I watch it as like an audience member, and the third time, I watch it as a comedian trying to help another comedian. And then you basically, from that point, you just add on to the joke. Yeah.
Bing bang.
What's some tell people why they should listen to Comedians in Bed.
Oh, Ty Erskines is the man. He's I mean, he is the upcoming comedian. I mean, if you have not seen him live, you need to watch him. Go to one of the shows personally. Because what's going to happen is, if you don't watch him now, you're going to miss out on just the growth of it, and you're not going to dislike him. And I mean, this podcast is just so fun and so open, man, and you just allow people just the platform to be able to speak freely, which is so wonderful. Yeah, and I appreciate you, Ty.
Man, we appreciate you having you on. Kenny, tell people where they can find you at, man.
All social media platforms, just Comedian Kenny, all one word, no spaces, just Comedian Kenny. And yeah, that's where you'll find me at. The next show I'll be at is it's be July 15th, 14th and 15th. That'll be in Boston, Massachusetts. That's the bigger show for World Series of Comedy.
And also here, we got our side host. This is Greg, and then that one and the black one, that's Kiki. So we just want to tell you congratulations on making it to the World Series of Comedy Finals, man.
Congratulations! What's up with the silk? What's up with the silk sheets in the background? So I gotta know. I've been wanting to ask that for a minute. I said, "What? He has the pink silky sheets, or is that icing? I don't know what is it.
Nah, it's silk sheets, man. So part of my game, my charisma, I have like accessories that like attract women, right? So like I got the TV on the wall, I got the LED lights, and then they happen to get in the room, it's silk sheets. You know what I'm saying? I just took what Cat Williams told us, silk sheets, just in case they don't got their bonnet. And I got bonnets too, but like silk sheets. That's how you become rememberable. Like they, even if it don't work out, you not gonna forget me. Like you not.
That's crazy.
Hey man, check out next week's episode. Subscribe. We shoot live, premiere live 11 a.m. every Tuesday on my YouTube page at TYE Comedy. Once again, that's TYE Comedy. You can check out clips and everything. Who's gonna be next on the show? At our IG page at Comedians in Bed Podcast. We want to thank Kenny Mock for coming on with us today. Please check out that live stream too when he is in Las Vegas here in September. This is going to come out in September. So this week, check it out this week. But yeah, Kenny, man, we want to thank you once again, and we'll see you guys next week.
All right. Thanks, Ty.